People say, well, you can't, you're making fun of Christians because you call them Christian jokes. But yet, I want to ask you a question. Craig, and I don't know, maybe Brian too, who knows? In the book of Galatians, you ever heard of the book of Galatians? It's in the New Testament. And in the book of Galatians, Paul said, he said, oh, foolish Galatians. He called them that. He says, oh, foolish Galatians. Who hath bewitched you that you should not obey the truth? So now I just went ahead because I'm kind of slow. I'm like Abraham Lincoln said. He said, my head's very thick. It takes a long time to get in, but once something gets in, it doesn't get out. But I just looked up the word foolish. And I looked up comedy. And comedy is pointing out foolishness and silliness. And foolishness is, looked it up here, because you know how I roll. Because when you start looking up this stuff, you see that foolishness is silliness, absurdity. And for Paul to call the Galatians fools, he was saying, you guys are a bunch of jokes, man. You guys are a bunch of Christian jokes. And I don't see how that's any different than what the comedian does today. And the body of Christ, they need an evangelist that has the courage to stand up and say to the body of Christ, you are all a bunch of jokes. Why are you acting this way? And that's what I do as a comedian. And I think that, Brian, that's what you do. But instead of doing it for only Christians, you do it for all sorts of things in society, including yourself. And the difference between, I think, my act and Brian's is I would do more 90% directed towards Christians, and Brian might only do 10% because it just touches on where his comedy lands. But my goal is to speak to Christians.